And we're talking to Deborah in Canada. How are you, Deborah?
Good. I am good. I am good. Thanks very much for taking my call.
How may I help you today?
Okay. I've been separated for a year now, a year plus. And at first, it was my husband that initiated the separation because of cheating and uh, just neglect. And so I was separated for a year, and then he's trying to come back and say, "Hey, let's work it out," and whatever. He has asked me for divorce
Mm-hmm.
twice
Mm-hmm.
around the time of separation,
Mm-hmm.
and he's had two affairs that I know of during the
Mm-hmm.
separation, before and during the separation. Both has dissolved. However, um, while I was trying to, consider, I did find that he was still talking to the first one that he had affairs with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's just been a lot of things that I have on my list that he's not doing
Mm-hmm.
to want me to go back and say, okay, let's work it out, because I feel like it's going to fall back on him just having the higher power, and then him just falling back and then having to separate again. I feel like that's where it's going to lead to again, because he's not giving up his past,
Mm.
and he's really not showing any remorse and anything of that nature on my part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So why does he want to come back? What does he say?
Uh, for the kids, and he thinks that's what's best for him. He claimed that he just had emotional affairs. He just had to get rid of it, rid of it, which I've read about. Spouses have an emotional affair and then it wears out, but then he's not letting go of those people. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, what is the attachment all about? Why can't you let them go? Because I
Mm-hmm.
see several texts, and I see texts being
Mm.
hidden. I'm not looking for it, but sometimes the phone is right in front of me, and then I just see it, and I'm like, okay. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also see that he's changing names of who the people are on his phone. So
Mm-hmm.
even though he claimed to have deleted them and not talking to them, basically, yeah.
Gotcha. So do you still love this guy?
I'm trying to find the love, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've been away for the year, I work on myself
Mm-hmm.
intellectually and
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually, I'm on the good side.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, yes, and sometimes the being depressed comes in because I'm just like, okay, it's like life hit me hard
Yeah.
in a way
Yeah.
through this whole process. But I mean, other than that, I'm not being negative or anything. I look on the positive of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know that I'm a loving person. So finding the love back, it's not a problem. It's just the
But you don't
fact
trust.
that he's worth
Yeah.
it.
You don't trust him.
Yeah.
Right. I understand. If he became trustworthy, would you want to put this back together?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Is he willing to submit himself to circumstances where that he can be? Uh, I'm looking for the right language here. Basically, it comes down to this. If I don't use the right words, forgive me. I'll try it the second time. What we often recommend when a person has done something that's violated trust, we recommend that if you're going to put this thing back together, one thing you're going to have to do is this. For at least 9 months, minimum 9 months, that the person who has been doing the untrustworthy things has to make himself, in this case it's himself, sometimes it's herself, but himself accountable to the nth degree. What I mean by that is to the point where it's almost oppressive, but not like you're going to live like that the rest of your life. It's not going to be like you're the mama and he's the little boy for the rest of his life. That won't work. But it will work up 9 months to a year, something like that, where it's like you have access to everything. You know where every dollar goes. You know where every minute goes. You are able to look at his phones anytime you want to. You can pick it up. You're able to check his email. The kind of thing that nobody wants to live like forever because it feels like you're living under a magnifying glass. But to rebuild trust, if he really wants to come back and he really wants to be with the children, really wants to be with you, then that's the kind of thing I would think that you would have to do. You would sit down together and basically write a contract. And the contract, and it's not going to be like a legal contract you take to court necessarily, but it's the kind of contract where, okay, I want you back. I want to give you another chance. I want to see if we can rebuild the love because I'm a loving person. I can do that. But to be able to do that, I have to know that I can trust you, that you're not involved in some kind of emotional or any other way with anybody else. Therefore, these are the things that I will require. And I require that they'll happen for at least 9 months. Now, if he's not ready to do that, then you're not ready for a full-fledged reconciliation. That does not necessarily mean you're not ready for the first step in reconciliation. The first step in reconciliation is basically to start dating again. Now, if you start dating again, it's like, I'm not committing to come back to you, and I'm not expecting you right now to commit to come back to me. I'm just going to see if I still like you. I'm going to see if I still want to be around you, and you do the same thing. And so reconciliation is not just like one thing like that. Reconciliation is a step, and then another step, and another step, and another step. Now, somewhere down here, and I don't have time to go into detail today, but somewhere down here is when you have that contract and say, okay, we can make the next step. But at this point, I have to have assurance. And so here's the contract. And again, it doesn't have to be written like a legal thing, but you both look at it, you read it to make sure you understand
Right.
it, you talk about it, and you both sign it and put it in a lockbox somewhere so that if ever a discussion comes up, no, that's not what we said. Let's pull it out and read it. Oh, here's what we said. And again, it's not to start fights, it's to stop fights. If you still want to consider the possibility, just date each other some. And as it gets closer to the point of thinking, okay, he really wants to come back, think carefully what needs to be in that contract, okay? And don't make it oppressive to the point where he can't do it, but make it enough where that you can feel comfortable knowing, okay, for the next 9 months or so, at least 9, I'm going to be able to check. And therefore, I'm going to be able to have some peace and not worrying about what he's doing. And when he does, if and when he does that, then you can have a lot more confidence that this reconciliation will work.